Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Today we are putting together a succulent planter. This is the succulent planter pot that I used last year, and it would have all survived for this year. However, like over the late fall winter, the squirrels got to it, and for some reason they were just digging up everything that was in here. Stuff got tossed out, got frozen, got thrown around the garden. So I have there's at least two plants in here that are alive, and one is this little tiny succulent here, and this trailing thing. There's also some moss in here, which okay, just put that down here. We love moss in this garden. This is a moss garden. We love all moss. So I'll put that in a good spot, or my little one will put it in a good spot. But anyway, so we've got bits and bobs of the succulents that were here before, but the only thing that is probably salvageable is this plant here. So I will try to salvage that, but we're going to be adding new plants this year, and I think it's going to look great. So we've got some supervivums, hens and chicks. And hens and chicks are wonderful because they will actually make babies for you constantly. So you can always break these off, pop them in the soil, and they'll root up for you. Here is a succulent that I have had in this pot for several years. It is also a supervivum variety. I'm going to actually give it a new home this year. So I think it might be able to fit really good in here. Or I have another container on my table that I'm going to put succulents in. It might do great in there. We've got some sedum. This sedum is a perennial. Looks so cute. I think this should actually be in the middle just because of the upright growth. We've got this cutie, which is stone crop. Gorgeous. Let's see, this one is also a perennial. I think they all are perennials. Another sedum, red carpet. Gorgeous. And this will probably change colors in the light, I'm guessing. Higher light, you get more like other colors that will pop out in the leaves, which is awesome. Up here, we've got a few more plants. We've got another stone crop. This is Sun Sparkler Lime Twist. Beautiful. And you can see where it's gotten some sun. It's got that pink edge around the leaves. And then we've got another stone crop, Sun Sparkle Wildfire. Gorgeous. And then we've got another Supervivum, Hens and Chicks. This one has a lot of red on the foliage, which is so cute. And again, you can split this up and take these babies and put them in different containers, pop them in the ground anywhere. All of these can be planted in ground. At least here in zone 6A, these are all perennials. And then here are the hens and chicks that we grew from seed together earlier this year. Looks like my tag says January 7th when I started these. So this is really exciting. They look really good. They've already like been multiplying and making babies, and yeah, they're ready. They're ready to go into a planter. Here are two others. I believe these were rescues from my old succulent container that I just showed you on the ground. I think these guys I found, brought them indoors, and have been trying to resuscitate them. But once I start buying stuff and I start moving plants outside, like I kind of forget things. So I believe these are from last year's container. So let's go ahead and start planting. We'll plant the big container first, and then we'll see about, oh, this thing is germinating in there. And then we'll see about filling this second planter. Anything that's left over from the first planter will go into this terracotta bowl here. The first thing that I'm going to do is try and remove this plant because I want to refresh the soil. Sorry for all the sniffles. I have really bad allergies, And so I've been not doing great this season with allergies. So we definitely can replant this. All right. I'm going to sit that plant right here for now. And then let's just kind of get some of these leaves out of here. Anything that doesn't need to be in this container can come out. There's a lot of pine needles in here. All right. I'm going to add a little bit of soil back into this. And then I'm also going to add some fertilizer in here as well. And we'll build from the center out. So that's going to be this plant here, which actually is in a pretty small container. So I'm going to need to leave some soil there in the center. And then we are going to want our trailing plants. So we'll do something like a trailer here. So I'll move that out the way, pop that in. Okay. And then I'm going to add in this plant. Might pull off some of these dangling babies. Any that are dangling really low or long. All right. This plant has been in this pot for several years. Look at that. Alrighty. Let's get that baby out of there. And we'll kind of lean this so that these babies can dangle out over the sides. Let me pull this up a little bit. Just to be taller than everything else. This right here, this hen and chick. Take these dangling babies off. And then we'll pop them back in. This one needs a deeper hole. And it needs to be even deeper than that. Perfect. All right, and I think one more plant will do it, and we'll add this other plant back in. All right. Now let's see if we need to add any soil in to fill in these spots. Alrighty. All right, I think that's good. And now we are going to plant some of the babies back in. So I'm just gonna make a hole with my fingers, stick them in like that. I'm actually gonna put a couple in together. Go over here, one there, one there. We'll put some more babies over here. Some of them only have a tiny stem, so we'll just stick those in like that. And you want to make sure not to disturb the soil too much because they are really, really loose and can come out of the soil again easily until they get rooted. It takes a couple weeks for, depending on the succulent, can take a couple weeks to actually get rooted in. We need more babies hiding. Okay, here's another. We'll stick this one over here. All right, that looks good. This will fill out over the season and look amazing. So here's our second container, a terracotta bowl. And I'm gonna add some leaves down here at the bottom, actually just one big leaf to help keep the soil in. Since this will be a container that will stay on this table, I don't want soil leaking out all over the place. So let's get our soil in there. This is a really barky soil, but you want to make sure that you are using something that is barky, free draining, and has a, can have sand, can have bark, can have just about anything. There's a little mushroom in there. Mushrooms are not a problem for plants. Just don't eat them if you can't identify them, is what I like to say. That usually is a sign of good soil when you have mushrooms popping up. So they are unsightly, but they're not going to hurt your plant. Okay, so we got that there, and I'm actually going to grab a little bit of sand to add to this just to be more helpful. Okay, so I got my sand. This is a gritty paver sand that I'm just going to add in for a little bit more drainage. All right, I'm going to spread this out like this. So I'm going to start with my first plant, the one that I want it to be in the center of the pot. Here. Ooh, bugs flying everywhere. All right, my centerpiece. I'm just going to lay all the plants out in an arrangement that I think will look good. And then if I'm satisfied, then we'll go ahead and fill in with soil. All right, that looks good. Okay. Here's our second planter, all done, looking gorgeous. Beautiful. And now for the second planter, I moved it over here. Looks gorgeous as well. These will fill out over the season and look amazing. And to store them for winter this year, I'm actually just going to move them into my garage. That way the squirrels aren't gonna dig out the plants and they'll have the best chance of survival. So to put together a succulent container, you want to pick plants that you actually like, that you like the texture, you like the color, you like the shape of the foliage, and kind of mix and match those things together. I mean, obviously, you can do whatever you want. If you, excuse me, allergies, if you want to do a container of all the same plant, all the same color, do that. Like, it's your garden, do what you want to do. If you want to mix textures and colors and heights, and or if you want, all trailing things or one trailing thing, like, it's up to you. It's your garden. Put things together that catch your eye, that draw you into the planter, that makes you care about the planter. That's really what it is pick plants that you care about, that you are going to want to see grow and get bigger. What's wonderful about succulents is they're very easy to propagate, especially supervivums, the hens and chicks. They make babies constantly, so you'll always have a fresh supply of babies and can make other containers just from propagating from those plants. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this video. All of the plants that I got them locally. So like Walmart, Lowe's, places like that. Definitely check out your store's clearance section first to see if they've got them on clearance for you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.